Government experts are setting their eyes on a higher herd. Government experts are setting their eyes on a higher herd immunity target of 90% to ease the threat brought by emerging COVID-19 variants. This comes as daily cases hit 20,000 for a second straight day. Positivity rate also rose to 28%. The health department is also reporting a shortage in the supply of tocilizumab, a drug used to treat severe COVID-19 infections. The problem with the limited supply may reach until Christmas. Pilot face-to-face classes may take place this coming school year, but only in select schools. The recommendation must first pass President Duterte's approval. And COVID-19 knocks off a boxing great. Oscar De La Hoya bids for a comeback fight. The Hall of Fame boxer is seeking treatment after testing positive for the virus. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. Government experts are targeting a higher herd immunity goal of 90%. This is to counter the impact of more coronavirus variants emerging across the globe. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeire says new variants tend to lower the efficacy of vaccines against symptomatic infections. Still, the DOH emphasizes the importance of vaccines in preventing severe to critical COVID-19 cases. Over 13 million Filipinos are fully vaccinated against COVID. The new goal now puts us farther from achieving herd immunity. Meanwhile, the Budget Department released an additional 888 million peso budget for the special risk allowance of eligible public and private health workers. DBM releases 888.12 million special risk allowance for public-private health workers, this to compensate over 117,000 public health workers who attended to infected patients from December 20, 2020 to June 30, 2021. Health frontliners set to receive 5,000 allowance per month. These frontliners will receive a 5,000 monthly compensation. Now, despite a steady decrease in the reproduction rate of the virus, the health department says daily cases in NCR could reach up to 40,000 by the end of the month. With this, a research group says maybe we should take a step back in easing the quarantine restrictions. Jacob Lazaro has the story.
For weeks, health officials warned the public that we haven't seen the worst of COVID-19 just yet. Just before the weekend, the Department of Health revealed just how bad it could get. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeire said the daily cases in Metro Manila alone could be a minimum of 17,000 to more than 40,000 before the end of the month.
Range natin na kanina that can go as high as 150 plus thousand, iyan yung total active cases.
The day before, DOH Epidemiology Bureau Chief Dr. Alathea de Guzman gave an average daily figure that was somewhere in between.
The average na daily cases based on that range will be around 30,000 cases per day. That's for NCR alone.
The capital region currently has 41,449 active cases and a daily average of less than 5,000, a number that's already putting our hospitals at high risk. The experts believe the ongoing surge is largely driven by the hyper-contagious Delta variant, which has been confirmed in 16 out of the country's 17 regions. To stem the tide, authorities are looking at implementing granular or targeted lockdowns instead of regional and provincial lockdowns. But the Okta Research Group is warning against the apparent loosening of restrictions. The group says what we need now is a 2-week extension of the MECQ beyond September 7.
Will create a serious setback, no, if we're going to scale down from MECQ at the moment.
In the last couple of days, NCR has seen a steady decrease in its reproduction number, which is now down to 1.39. Professor Rai said, "We only see a downward trend in cases once the number goes below 1.
Experimenting with a localized lockdown in a complex terrain such as Metro Manila might be problematic. We are now trying to sustain a downward trend. We will not be able to sustain that if we open up prematurely."
I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Commission on Elections has extended the deadline allowing the transfer of overseas voter registration until September 30. The deadline now coincides with the deadline for regular voters registration. Repatriated OFWs originally had until August 31st to transfer their records. These individuals must personally file their application before the election office in his or her locality. Now, face-to-face classes may be piloted in 120 schools nationwide in the coming school year. Both the Departments of Education and Health recommended the resumption of in-person schooling in select basic education institutions. This includes 20 private schools, but the recommendation remains pending and is subject to the approval of President Duterte. Now, the IATF has approved the pilot implementation of granular lockdowns in Metro Manila by next week. We have with us tonight the Interior Undersecretary Martin Dino to tell us more details about this. Undersecretary Dino, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to all our viewers. Magandang gabi sa inyo lahat.
Yusek Dino, we have a couple of questions. First, have we narrowed down which areas in particular will be placed under these granular lockdowns?
Yeah, correct, no? Kasi ang kaya tayo mag-granular lockdown is to balance the health and economy. No, this time talagang maghihigpit, no, tayo sa barangay, down to barangay level, and we will make sure na pagka nagkaroon ng barangay na kung saan meron tayong tinatawag na granular lockdown, dun lang sa mga street o kung dun sa barangay na yon tayo hihigpit at yung mga wala namang cases ng positive, ay yun, pwede natin yung apor, no? Pero pagka lockdown, kahit apor ka, hindi ka makakalabas ng bahay mo. Tsaka, ibig sabihin, pag lumabas ka, hindi ka nababalik. Pagka naman dumating ka, umuwi ka dun sa hindi ka na pwede lumabas dahil nga, yung sinasabi nating gradual lockdown. Tapos may mga ibang area naman na walang lockdown, ano? Kaya yun, pagka yung apor, pwede sila lumabas. Tapos, yung mga, at saka yung mga babakunahan, ayun ang pagkakaiba na ngayon. Kasi, pagka naka-lockdown ikaw, yung mga may quarantine pass lang ang pwede lumabas. At saka yung mga maghahanap buhay. Yun lang ang pagkakaiba natin. No? Maliwanag yan. Pagka sinabing lockdown, hindi kayo pwedeng lumabas at hindi kayo pwedeng pumasok ng lugar kung saan naka-granular lockdown. So, yun.
Yusek, pag sinabi po natin ulit na granular lockdown, dahil nga po bawal na pong lumabas, makakapag-provide po ba ang ating gobyerno ng ayuda para sa mga pamilyang maapektuhan?
Yes, yun naman ang aasintahin o yun ang magiging target ng ating local government. Na kung saan, pagka ikaw yung lugar na yan ay na-lockdown, ibig sabihin, kailangan may ayuda. May ayuda tayo ng pagkain para dun sa lugar na yan. Ang maganda lang dito, hindi mo isasara ang buong barangay kung hindi dun lang mismo, dun sa lugar na merong positive. No, yun. Halimbawa, itong karsada na to, ito lang karsada na to ang isasara mo. Ngayon, yung ibang karsada na pag kung wala namang positive dun, umaandar ang ating na pwedeng lumabas ang mga apor. Okay?
Okay, maraming salamat po, Yusek Dino, for clarifying again the implementation of this granular lockdowns. Thank you and stay safe. That's Secretary or Yusek Martin Dino of DILG. Meanwhile, the Philippines records its second highest ever single day COVID-19 tally today with over 20,700 new infections. The country's total caseload is now at 2.6 million. More than 157,000 are active cases. Positivity rate has climbed to 28%. This means more than 1 in 4 people who get tested are found positive for the coronavirus. Boxing great Oscar De La Hoya has been hospitalized after contracting COVID-19, forcing the cancellation of his comeback bout against Victor Belfort. De La Hoya said in a video posted on Twitter that he had been admitted to a hospital for treatment despite being fully vaccinated. The Hall of Fame boxer was set to compete for the first time since December 2008. Belfort will face former heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield instead. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register now for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.